little village tailor says she's making the wedding dress. Which wedding? The Okonko wedding. The one every television station is coming to cover. Stop joking. Madam Isabella already imported 3 dresses from Italy. Exactly. But this one believes her own dress can beat them. Ngozi, tell us, which miracle thread are you using? Gold, diamond, or angel hair? Just thread. You hear her? Just thread. No, she means village thread. Listen carefully. Rich people don't wear dreams. They wear expensive labels. Sometimes they are not the same thing. Still talking in riddles. That's why nobody notices you. If your dress reaches that wedding, I'll resign from tailoring. Forget reaching there. The security men won't even allow it inside. We'll see. No, we'll laugh.
Nobody in that workshop hated Ngozi because she was rude. They mocked her because she was quiet. She never fought for attention, never argued, never competed. While everyone else rushed to imitate European bridal trends, Ngozi sat alone by the window, sketching dresses nobody understood. To most people, they looked too simple, too clean, too African, too different. The bridal company where she worked had become one of Lagos's biggest luxury fashion houses. Its owner, Isabella Williams, built her reputation dressing politicians' daughters, celebrities, governors' wives, and billionaires. Everything was imported: French lace, Italian silk, Spanish embroidery. If it didn't come from Europe, Isabella wasn't interested. Except for one corner of the workshop, Ngozi's. Hidden inside old sketchbooks were hundreds of hand-drawn wedding gowns inspired by ancient African history. Some carried patterns copied from ancient Yoruba carvings, others borrowed flowing silhouettes from Benin royal garments. Some included tiny symbolic stitches that represented loyalty, forgiveness, sacrifice, and family. Nobody ever looked twice, because nobody ever asked. Ngozi had worked there for nearly 6 years. 6 years without a promotion. 6 years without recognition. 6 years hearing the same sentence: she's talented, but not luxury enough. Nobody knew that every night after everyone left, she secretly remained behind, not to steal, not to earn overtime, simply to finish one dress, the same dress, piece by piece, year after year. She wasn't making it for any customer. She was making it because someone had once told her, a wedding dress should tell a love story before the bride even says, I do. She never forgot those words, and she never forgot the woman who said them. Far away across Lagos, preparations for Nigeria's biggest society wedding were reaching their peak. The bride, Adaora Okonkwo, only daughter of Chief Emmanuel Okonkwo, construction billionaire. Everything about the ceremony screamed perfection: luxury hotel, 5-star decorators, celebrity musicians, international guests. Nothing ordinary was allowed, especially not the dress. 3 imported gowns had already arrived, each worth more than the average house, yet Adaora stared at them without smiling. Something felt missing. She couldn't explain it, but deep inside she already knew. None of them felt like hers.
Try the first one, the Paris gown. It's breathtaking. I already tried it. Try it again. Sometimes a bride simply needs to see herself twice. It still doesn't feel like me. Every bride says that. Now stand still. Ready. Well, beautiful. Exactly. But it's somebody else's beautiful. Perfect fit. No. No? What's wrong now? Everything fits. Nothing belongs. I don't understand. Neither do I. Hello? Yes, Chief. She's trying them now. No problem at all. Everything is under control. Yes, I'll handle it. One last dress. The Italian masterpiece. The one everyone has been waiting to see. Please, take it off. Adaora, take it off.
The room emptied without anyone speaking. Outside the suite, everyone assumed the fitting had gone perfectly. Inside, Adaora sat alone before the mirror, surrounded by gowns worth millions of naira, Yet she had never felt less like a bride. She wasn't rejecting beauty. She was rejecting emptiness. Every dress looked flawless. Every stitch was technically perfect. But none of them seemed to know who she was. They looked as though they had been made for photographs instead of promises. That frightened her, because in less than 2 weeks, she would stand before hundreds of guests, cameras from across the country, and the man she truly loved. If she couldn't recognize herself in the mirror now, how would she recognize herself on her wedding day? Meanwhile, back at Isabella's bridal house, the atmosphere had become even more toxic. The fitting had gone badly, although Isabella refused to admit it. Instead, the pressure rolled downhill. Employees were shouted at over tiny mistakes, pins out of place, wrong measurements, late deliveries. Everyone became nervous.
Wait, don't trade that card yet. Your gift card might be worth more than you think.
Everyone, except Ngozi. She remained in her little corner, carefully guiding her needle through another section of the mysterious dress. The fabric glowed softly beneath the afternoon sunlight, not because it contained jewels, but because every panel had been stitched entirely by hand. Thousands upon thousands of tiny stitches, each one nearly invisible, each one perfectly even. The work demanded impossible patience. No machine could reproduce it. Mercy happened to walk past and stopped. For the first time, she looked closely. The embroidery wasn't random. It seemed to tell a story. A winding path, 2 trees growing towards each other, tiny birds hidden inside floral patterns, an old wooden bridge, a sunrise, a pair of hands meeting. The images were almost impossible to notice unless the light struck the fabric from the right angle. Mercy frowned, and so she had to say something. "You actually embroidered all this by yourself?" she asked. Ngozi simply nodded. Bisi overheard the conversation and rolled her eyes. "So that's where all your time goes. You're wasting years on a dream nobody will ever wear." Laughter spread through the workshop once more. Ngozi smiled politely and returned to sewing. She had learned long ago that arguing with people who laughed at dreams only gave them more reasons to laugh. She preferred to let time answer for her. Later that evening, Isabella stayed behind to review the latest designs. She was exhausted. For the first time in 20 years, she had no answer for a dissatisfied bride. As she walked through the silent workshop, something unusual caught her eye. A mannequin stood near the window, covered with a white cloth. She frowned. "Who left this here?" she muttered. Curiosity made her pull the cloth away. The moment the fabric fell, she froze. Not because the dress sparkled, not because it was expensive, because it seemed alive. The silhouette was elegant without being loud. The neckline carried a quiet dignity. The sleeves flowed with graceful simplicity. The embroidery appeared almost invisible until the moonlight from the window revealed delicate symbols woven into the cloth. It didn't look like a fashion statement. It looked like a love story waiting to be told. For nearly a full minute, Isabella couldn't move. Then she heard footsteps behind her. She turned sharply. Ngozi stood quietly at the entrance, holding a small sewing basket. Neither woman spoke. Finally, Isabella asked the only question she could think of. "Who designed this?" Ngozi looked.
Who designed this? I did. When? Over the last 6 years. Why didn't you tell me? You never asked. Who was it made for? I didn't know. I only knew one day the right bride would find it.
For the first time since Ngozi joined the company, someone important was truly looking at her work. But neither of them noticed that another pair of eyes had been watching from the half-open doorway. Bisi. And the smile slowly spreading across her face wasn't admiration. It was the smile of someone who had just discovered the perfect opportunity to destroy another person. Isabella slowly walked around the mannequin again. This time, she wasn't looking at the shape of the gown. She was studying the craftsmanship.
Every seam was perfectly aligned. Every fold fell naturally. The proportions were balanced from every angle. Then she noticed something extraordinary. The embroidery wasn't decorative, it was storytelling. Tiny stitched symbols flowed across the fabric like invisible sentences. Most people would never notice them, but anyone patient enough to look closely would discover an entire journey hidden inside the dress. There were two rivers joining into one. Two trees whose branches intertwined without choking each other. A broken clay pot carefully repaired with golden thread. A small seed growing into a mighty Iroko tree. Nothing had been embroidered for beauty alone. Everything carried meaning. For the first time in many years, Isabella felt something she hadn't experienced since opening her fashion house. Wonder.
Madam, you wanted tomorrow's delivery file. What's that? Come here. Impossible. Have you seen this before? No, Ma. You're lying. You mocked her for making it every day. I thought it was just another village project. No, you never looked carefully enough.
Bissie's stomach tightened. For the first time, she realized the danger wasn't the dress, it was Isabella's reaction to it. If the owner of the company truly embraced Ngozi's work, everything inside the workshop would change. Promotions, recognition, respect, clients. The quiet woman everyone ignored could suddenly become the most important designer in the building. Bissie couldn't allow that to happen. Jealousy often disguises itself as logic. She convinced herself she wasn't protecting her position, she was protecting the company's reputation. Or at least that's what she kept telling herself. By the time she reached home that night, a plan had already begun forming in her mind, a cruel one.
Dear God, as I rise this morning, I offer thanks for the gift of a new day.
Mrs. Isabella, may I ask you something? Of course. Have you ever seen a wedding dress that feels alive? Why do you ask? Because every dress I've worn looks beautiful. None of them feel honest. If such a dress existed, would you be willing to trust someone you've never heard of? If the dress tells my story, I don't care who made it.
Those